Hello there, it's Mike Baldwin, and just a big thank you for all the people who've subscribed and have clicked the bell and have put likes on the channel. It's been great to grow that along a little bit. But today I wanted to do a little video on how you combine formal and informal to make really interesting gardens. I think one of the problems is that we often get into sort of one or the other as designers, and to begin with, I know I went very much on the informal side, and through history, of course, that it went through periods of time where it was very formal in the Androlonotra kind of era, and a lot of the gardens in Great Britain, there were Tudor gardens, Elizabethan gardens of a very formal nature. And then of course you had the informal capability of Brown, Bridgman and Kent that took it a different way. So I went the informal way, and so a lot of my designs, as you can see, had a very informal nature, just sort of linking up areas to make sure that they connected and worked. But it was a lot more informal than it was formal in the designs, and that's the way I kind of liked it, and the customers liked it. There were a few formal ones, of course. It wasn't all informal, but the majority definitely had that informal nature. However, I was taking a group of students to a study tour in Ireland, and we came across this beautiful garden called Ilnacullen on a little island, and I looked at it and I could see that there was this formal element and this informal, all in the same design, and it looked really, really good. And so that sort of began to change my mind to look at the combination of formal and informal. I'm sure there's lots of examples you can think of where people have done just that, and let's just have a look at this combination. So as well as this garden Ilnacullen, there's a beautiful garden, of course, up at Tatton Park, where you combine the beautiful formality of the hedging, whether it's Ilex crenata or box or some choicea or some sarcococa or something like that, and then you've got the informal maples in the background, and it really serves to make a really interesting design combining those two elements. And all through the Japanese garden at Tatton, it's got all the elements of the Japanese garden, from the turtle stone right the way through to a beautiful bridge linking the Japanese and English areas together. And then of course you've got places like Hidcote with the lovely formal hedging, creating the compartmentalization and these beautiful monochromatic borders inside them. So a formal setting but a beautiful informal planting within it. It takes the interest to the maximum when you combine formal with informal. And of course, again, Hidcote with this beautiful topiary and really strong box hedging, really strong yew hedging, incredible framework, especially with the paving as well, lovely cedar in the background. And then you've got this white garden, another monochromatic garden with the informal within the formal, creating maximum contrast. And then of course we've got the great gardens like Great Treacle combining with Lutyens. So you've got Lutyens, Edwin Lutyens, Ned Lutyens, with this very formal kind of real and beautiful architecture, lovely symmetrical, lovely dry stone walling, and then of course Great Treacle coming along and adding that beautiful layer of herbaceous perennials and bulbs and climbers and a beautiful palette of plants, just to make that formal area so much more interesting. And again, the combination of formal with informal. Another one of course is the Privy Garden down there at Hampton Court, and then you have this beautiful structure of yew and box and lots of sort of little knotty sort of parterre kind of like areas, and then there's informal planting based in that as well. And so you've got this structure which adds interest all year round, and then you've got the informal element within it as well. And of course recently I was looking again at Cofton Court with its beautiful formal box edging with a couple of yew, sort of upright pyramid yews, and then informal roses, Alchemilla, Nepeta in it, and it just looks great. So you've always got that structure, but you've got a beautiful informal planting within it. So let's have a look at a case study. So this is a little garden that I did sort of just over a year ago now, and the structure of it was again fairly formal, but within that I started to layer into that a Sarcococa hedge. So Sarcococa confused, I went for that because at the moment box is having a few problems with box caterpillar, box blight, so there's lots of different things that you know, box is suffering from. So I went for Sarcococa, which is a little bit more robust, and again I put these conical yew trees into the design to make it interesting. Added a few structures like a pergola with a little bit of sort of hip roofs on the end of it to make it more interesting, and then into that I layered into that the sort of informal planting. So that's where your penstemons, your Nepetas and plants like that would come in to make that informal part. Geranium silostemum, phyllictrums, and you can really make that a nice cottagey style within that formal design. And so there's a challenge for you designers. I'm sure many of you often combine the two, but it does really bring a really interesting and contrasting landscape, and I think you get the maximum interest when you do this within the landscape. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you know, again, if you liked it, just click the like and subscribe in the link below, and or hit the notification bell, and you'll be sent the next one. I've got a couple coming up in the next one of the next videos will be on 20 top tips for pruning, and so putting together a little collection there for you. See you next time.